How you doing, 50?
Good, man. What's happening in the UK?
I'm in Albania. I'm on holiday. Yeah. I said to my wife, I'm not going to do any interviews while I'm on holiday. And then your name came up. So I just showed the phone to her and said, can I do this one? She went, yeah, you can do that one. So I've been allowed. I'm going to start. I mean, I've really enjoyed BMF and what I've seen of it so far. I mean, obviously, I think it's a great family drama, like, first and foremost. It has so much humanity to it. How important is it to you that we recognize that everyone has a story and there's a lot more to each person than what we can read on Wikipedia?
I think it's so important. Like the origin story of this project, if we didn't do it, you would say that they had success in the illegal business. When they finally got caught, you go, well, about time. You know, you was doing it the wrong way. For anybody that is the working class person that struggles with things at different points, they would look at them and say, well, about time. They got away with it for Lord knows how long. But when you look at the nuances that you see in the origin story, it provides an understanding. It makes you view it from a 15-year-old kid's perspective at points where they're in poverty-stricken situations where they don't really have the money for the mortgage in their household. And that idea is the idea that pays the bills. When you come up and there's no financial structure around you, it'll start to feel like it's the biggest obstacle in front of you is finances. And money starts to be a huge driving force of everything that you try and, achieve in life because of that. And watching the guys, when they get a chance to see it and see that even the Christianity that runs through Charles and Michole Flenory's character, those things, I think they're universal. I think that people understand that at points they've seen a younger sibling follow their big brother in a different way. So that these are themes that you see happen throughout the actual series with Meech and Terry. And I think that they'll be relatable in some way, like understand what's driving the character. Mm-hmm. And then, I think it's irresponsible if you tell a story and don't tell the whole story. Mm-hmm. I think when you look at the word organized, it has levels of intelligence connected to it when it's used about criminal activity. So when I say organized crime, you think white Italian Americans and only that. You don't think of Russians, you don't think of triads, you think of no other ethnicity or organizations that have formed at any point. And this is the first time that they're seeing it with African Americans and a diversity spin to it. And it's a true story, so it's cool.
So when did you first come up with the idea of having Lil Meech play Big Meech? Because, I mean, he's so great in the show and it's proven to be a great idea, but given his lack of experience, it was quite a gamble.
No, that did. I had a casting in Atlanta, right? Mm-hmm. And the casting was so broad, like, because people, they identify with the characters they see in the shows that I'm working on. Like, they go, I could have did that, like, because they feel like they know the person that behaves that way. And they came out to the point that it was about 3,200, 3,300 people that came and signed up to we didn't get a chance to see everybody, and the cops came and shut down the actual casting. But it kind of felt like when you looked out the window, I was like, yo, they think it's a concert? Because it's for a TV show. It was that many people outside. And then Lil Meech came and he sat with me while watching other people come and rehearse, like to read. And it wasn't until after that I had two of the prominent casting directors in Hollywood send me names of people that would fit the origin story, and they didn't look like Meech to me. And I think his son looks just like him. His hair, like him, like he was already on like his dad is a superhero. Like we know this already. Like it's not without knowing the two of them. We know how the son will look at the dad at different points. And there's I just took a shot at it. I said, yo, if you do it, I said, yo, I sent him from Atlanta. I moved him to California. And I had him working with multiple acting coaches, the different workshops and stuff that he had going on, and allow him to be full-time focusing on acting. And we was able to do what people do over a longer period of time in 18 months. And we got him ready. And he came and he nailed it. He performed, he was in the show. And as he wrapped the show, he went and shot Euphoria. So he's in Euphoria, and he's done an independent film in between the actual season, and he'll be back to shoot season 2 shortly.
Yeah, when I spoke to him last week, he said you've been like a mentor to him. And I just wondered, did you think that with experience and weight in the industry comes a responsibility to kind of help the next generation of people kind of rise up and achieve their own goals? And did you have a kind of mentor when you first started out?
I didn't have the mentor. I didn't. I do think that I do feel like a responsibility to offer some of the information. If not the things that I've done right, but some of my mistakes, so they don't have to make them. You know what I mean? And that, and you've seen in the relationship with Pop Smoke, you saw in me with the baby, the artist, the baby, me and him hang out and I communicate, talk to him about some of the things that's going on. And there's also like Lil Meech, it's different, but because I had, really, it's the finances around to move him from one area to another area that allowed him to just have sole focus at that. You know what I'm saying? And you look and you say, where he's at now, I wish I could take credit for it. He's really good, bro. Like you can see in his performance that there's a vulnerability there that the neighborhood hadn't desensitized him. Yeah, you know, I'm like that where you got this like tough exterior around you because of the environment itself that they hadn't actually broke through to him to toughen him up in that way, and it allowed him to go into tap into things a lot easier than he would have if he had already emerged into that lifestyle. He hasn't done any of those things. When they're watching it, it may be authentic because he's his son, but he's all the way good. Like there's no felonies, there's none of that energy from his dad and his son is just, he was too young. I think he was like 6 when his dad went.
Yeah, but one person that was obviously quite influential though when you started your career, I know, was Eminem, and of course he features in this show. How pleased are you to get him involved in an episode of BMF?
Very excited, man. Like like that wouldn't happen if I wasn't directing. Like he's specifically, he's a guy that does not move on money. You can't, like, Hollywood has seen it like it might be an easier way to get him to get me because of our relationship. So there's points that I was given a project and I went to Detroit to show him the project and for him to look at it, and they were offering him like $8 million to be in it. And he still was like, yeah, I just think we should do something like the Warriors, like something different. Like, and I'm like, it's okay, cool. We just, let's make a music. You want to rap? Let's rap. Let's do something else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know he don't feel like if he doesn't want to do it, he's going to me, he really doesn't want to tell me no. So he'll create another suggestion. And that means no. I'm so clear that I get off of the subject. Come on, now, forget about that. Let's go. You want to go to the studio? Let's go rap. Let's go do something different and have fun. And he's like, all right. Because that's really what he wanted to do. Like he's that a perfectionist in a whole nother level. And he don't need it. You know what I'm saying? So when he comes out in support of me directing, it does, look at the attention that it brings to episode 7. You know what I mean? Like that, it just makes everyone pinpoint focus on that. And then I was initially cast in the role that Snoop is playing. So I just thought, because we were launching Raising Kanan, that people would be so conscious of my performance as Kanan that it would throw them off seeing me play the minister in BMF. So I said, yo, we should get Snoop to do it. And I got Snoop on the phone. And he was like, I'm with it, nephew. He was like, I'm with it, nephew. Let's put it together. Let me make it happen. And it was cool. I made that happen. And it's all good. Like, it's coming around full circle. And there's a few other surprises in there, too, that people go look and go, oh, I didn't even know it was in there. This is happening.
I wish I could just get Snoop on the phone, but unfortunately I haven't got his number. But I was such a big. I was going to ask my final question. I was such a big fan of Get Rich or Die Trying. I mean, the album and the movie. But my mum took me to go and see you at London at Wembley Arena, and so she's very excited that I'm chatting to you today years ago. Do you have plans to return to that kind of side of your work, or are you very much kind of focused now on the producing and kind of directing aspect of your career?
The music is I never lost my passion for it. Like I still. You see, I take the time to make sure I put in the right music on the theme song. Like I put all of them. I've done the theme song to, and there's because of BMF's connection to music culture, there's a full soundtrack to it. So you'll see me perform a few times on that, and then I'll buckle down and make some music where I really can present it to general public. Like I won't even pitch nothing that I don't feel like could arguably be the best thing out at the moment. So if I make a full length album and I release it, in my mind I'm thinking that it's the best thing possible, or I wouldn't even do it. I hold it back and just put out pieces. For the full body of work. I'm 50 Cent. I'm sold over 35 million records. When I get ready to come, I'm coming.
Well, next time you do tour in London, I'll be there with my mum again. Anyway, best of luck with the release of the series. Take care, 50. Here's your time. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys.